What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Baltmatrix here, and today we are taking a look at ToyWorld D01 Roar, or Not Snarl. The figure is packaged in this gigantic box we see here, and overall it is a pretty good-looking figure, so let's go ahead and get into the review. The only reason I'm even mentioning the box is because of how big it is compared to the size of the figure. I mean, the figure itself is pretty tiny compared to the box, but this box is gigantic. MP10 Prime. It's as tall as MP10 Prime. And it's nearly as wide as said MP10 Prime. It's just huge. The only reason I even brought up the size of that box is because, quite frankly, I'm running out of room in the basement. So, the figure itself is actually a very nice size. It is about twice to 2.5 times as big as the original G1 figure. The figure itself remains shiny even after playing with it for a little bit, and you can store both of the sword weapon and the gun weapon, sword in the tip of the tail, gun at the top of the figure. It's a very nice robot mode, very, very, very reminiscent of the original G1 figure. Giving you guys a quick up-close look at the figure, you can see just how freakishly shiny it is. I mean, it is so shiny! And his mouth opens with no problem whatsoever. The Dino mode is absolutely fantastic, and is my favorite part of this figure is, well, this mode. This Dino mode is definitely the main selling point of the figure. It's just great. The figure's transformation is very reminiscent of his G1 counterpart. To start with, we're going to take the head of the Dino mode, and we kind of have to just split the head apart. Actually, a little bit easier said than done, simply because the figure in Dino mode holds together really rather well. The little spines here are all on a ball joint, every single one of them, so you can pose them. But as I said, getting the head split apart, you actually have to reach underneath the head and pull it in half. And then you could flip the head out, like the original G1 figure, and fold out the entire front of the G1 figure to form the legs. But before you do that, you do just want to be a little bit careful of the way you're folding everything out. Unfortunately, I'm trying to do the review quickly because I have a sleeping baby and we don't know when he's going to wake up, so I'm kind of fudging it a little bit. Now, once you've got the legs flipped out like that, we're going to take the Dino legs and open a panel on the inner side of the leg and flip the Dino leg inside. And flip it on a double collapsible hinge and just turn it so that we've got some heels here. More on this later. Unfortunately, they don't peg into place anywhere, and that's a real detriment to the figure in my opinion. But we'll talk about that when we get to the review of the robot mode, or when we get to the part of the review about the robot mode. Now, I thought about maybe this little heel bit turns and pegs in over here. Nope, doesn't work like that. Yeah. For the torso, what we're going to do is first reach to the back here and pull the spines away. And I don't mean pull them off, I mean just grab this whole black section and lift it up and away from the figure. That will allow us to take the tail and fold it back and spin it around, open it up, release the sword, and then take the shoulders and actually swing them forward like that. And don't worry about the tail falling off. That happens actually every time you will transform him, because this is the combiner port. That's right. This set, or these Dinobots, are going to be combiners. Now, when I originally was playing around with this, the black section here could spin around, and I spun it, and you're really not supposed to. So we'll just plug the tail back in, bring the shoulders forward, bring this down, and there's actually a peg hole back here that the black piece will peg into. And then the shoulders swing back. There are little flaps down here that are supposed to be folded out or slid out in Dino mode. Once I slid them up, I cannot pull them back out. Just will not come back out. Then fold up the Dino feet and flip out the hands. And the first time I transformed him, the hands were actually open. The fists were actually open inside the legs here, so that caused some issues. And getting these things out is a little bit harder, so what I like to do is take the sword and just kind of use the sword to fiddle with it, and then get the hand closed and flip the fist out. The last bits of the transformation are A, First, make sure that the tail bits are pointed in the right direction. I had to unpeg them and then point them up, which is the way they're supposed to go. Grab the shoulders, and they are on a set of double hinges, so they will hinge up to be more shoulder-like. And then open the chest and flip up the head. In robot mode, the figure looks really good. I actually love the look of this robot mode, along with the dino mode. But as you can see, I had to flip out his dino feet in the back of his legs in order to get the figure to pose or stand still correctly. It's just a very top-heavy figure. It's not a bad figure. It looks great, but this top heaviness is just a problem. He does not have the necessary heels for him to stand correctly. It's just a big issue with this guy. Here's a comparison with the figure with MP10 Prime to give you guys a good sale. So here's a good size comparison for you guys. MP10 Prime next to Roar. Another issue I have with the figure has to do with his shoulders. Anytime you go to move his shoulders forward or back, or move the arms, the actual hinge here that's part of the transformation just moves on its own. Nothing locks it into place. There's nothing in the directions that say how to lock it into place, nor are there any way that I have found to lock them into place, which is a shame because I think this figure looks really good. I'm just tired of getting third-party figures that are so fidgety and wiggly. I just wish things would lock into place. And that's a big problem with this guy. Nothing locks into place except in dino mode. Another example of what I was just talking about is the fact that these legs don't peg in anywhere. They just kind of sit here and don't really peg in anywhere, nor does he have the necessary heels for the robot mode. It feels like it was engineered a certain way, and then they took all of the really important engineering out. It's just an odd figure. A very good-looking figure, but an odd one. The back of Roar's head is completely filled with light-piped plastic, and you could get some really nice light piping on this guy. I actually like Roar a lot. I think aesthetically he is fantastic, and probably the best looking of the not Dinobots figures we've had or we've seen come out lately. I just feel like he is unfinished. There is some real sloppiness to the design here that really does worry me going forward. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video review of TW-D01 Roar. I am Baltmatrix, asking you to like, comment, and subscribe, and as usual, I'll catch you next time.